Recording. It's recording?
Start off by blocking the wheels. Let the examiner know that the wheels are blocked. You don't have to drain the wet tank because this truck has an air dryer system. Once you're done that, you open up your jog box, you grab your tool, but while you're grabbing it, you let them know that you have a first aid kit, your 4Fs. They all start with that. First aid kit, flashlight, flares, which is triangles now. You can say flares if you want to. A working fire extinguisher. And once that's done, you can open the hood. Open the hood for this truck. You just open it from the passenger side because it's a little bit harder to open it from the front. Lower it down slowly so you don't snap it off the hinges. Got my tool. Give me a second. What you do is you just do it from top to bottom. Make it rain. Two words that you want to avoid saying is good and okay, because they'll start asking what's so good about it, what's so okay. Anything that has fluid or air, use two words, sufficient or adequate. Top to bottom, air filter, radiator, fan, remember when I come in, fan, belts, all my clamps, hoses and wiring, my frame, my air dryer, and all my suspension components have no cracks, leaks, or damage. My air line and my brake chamber is secure with no cracks, leaks, or damage. Give it a quick tug on it by just putting the 1 tooth in and leveraging it off the bolt. 1/2 to 3/4 inch play. Inside tire of my rim, outside tire of my rim, no cracks, leaks, or damage. Sufficient air and tread. Run your fingers over the lug nuts. All my lug nuts appear to be tight and I have no leaks from the hub. Just before you head over, just think about what you need to think. If you've forgotten everything, I didn't, so let's move on to the other side. So this side, you want to name off all your 4 fluids on this side, because all the tanks are for air. My coolant, my washer fluid, my power steering fluid, and my engine oil are all sufficient or adequate, whatever you prefer. All my clamps, hoses and wiring, as well as my compressor and the discharge line. What is the discharge line? That's the main line that goes from the compressor to the air tanks. Have no cracks, leaks, or damage. My steering rod has no excessive play. All my steering components, as well as my frame, suspension components, airline, and brake chamber are secure with no cracks, leaks, or damage. As you can see, I'm using those 3 words: no cracks, leaks, or damage. 1/2 to 3/4 inch play on the slack adjuster, inside tire rim, outside tire rim, no cracks, leaks, or damage. Sufficient air and tread. All my lug nuts appear to be tight and no leaks from the hub. Once you've done that, you can slam the hood shut and we'll do the inside portion. You just pause it for now. Continuing on from the inside, what we'll first let the examiner know is that our one-way check valve is working because our air tanks haven't lost any air. Turn the key, but you don't start the truck. All our warning lights are working properly on the truck. Make sure it's in neutral, give it a quick start. In cab check is what you start off from, top to bottom. You might want to shut your door. Top to bottom. So you see all my compartments are secure. My inside light is working. You get the examiner to check theirs. They're going to hit the button, tap, tap. The other one. That's working. Visors are secure. Mirror has no cracks or damage, as well as all my mirrors are adjusted with no damage as well. Passenger window opens and closes, as well as the driver window. as you can see, I'm working my way down. So I'm just on the windshield right about now. So my wipers and my washer fluid are both working. That's when you have a chance to check your defrost. My defrost is working. Why do we check defrost and not AC? Because AC is optional, right? Defrost is a safety thing. That's that. You're on the dashboard right about here. So the 4 gauges that you have to name on your dashboard is that you're building oil pressure, your batteries are charging, you're building air, and you have enough diesel for the trip. Once you're done that, we're still on the dashboard, you turn on your lights, which is this button straight up. All my dash lights are working. You can't really tell because it's daylight out. My left indicator is working, right indicator is working, my 4-ways are working, as well as my high beams. Right about here. City horn, and both highway horn are both working. I'm working my way down. I have no debris on the floor, or I have no garbage on the floor. Somewhat. My insurance papers are at hand. My seat is secure. Can you please check yours? They'll check it. My seat belt is working. Can you please check yours? They'll check it for you. You just let them know, like, yeah, I'm just done my in-cab test, or I'm going to start off with my air brake test or my air check. So anything that you do with your air check, you release your parking brakes. You can't do it properly with them on. You let them know that my wheels are blocked. I'm just going to release both my parking brakes, which are your spring brakes as well. Push both buttons in. Right, brake light's gone, so that means our parking brakes are off. You let them know that I'm just going to bleed my air down to about 90 psi to see if the compressor is working. Give it a couple of pumps. These are 20 psi increments. Yeah, that's about 90. Step on the gas. Needles are going up. That means that the compressor is building air to the air tanks. So now I'm just going to check if my low air warning light is working. It should work before 60 psi, not after, before. The reason why before, school buses do it at 80, some do it at 70. The government requirement is 60, before 60. So I'm just going to pump down my brakes, and the low air warning light should kick in at 60 or before. Pump it quickly until it stays on a little bit. Yeah, low air warning light is working, 60 and before. Turn your truck off. I'm just going to pump my brakes up to 20 to 40, between 20 to 40, 45 psi. Yeah, 45 to 20 psi, or 20 to 45, between that range. And my trailer parking brake should pop out, or you can say it should dynamite, is the fancy word. But it should just, you know, it should be applied. It should just pop out between 20 and 45 psi. Trailer parking brake has popped out. I'm just going to go check behind the trailer to see if they actually did it, and the button just didn't pop out. I'm just going to manually visually check if they did. So let's get you to hop out and follow me. Step back here. You just see that all 4 of your slack adjusters are at a 90-degree angle, right? Otherwise it would be at a 45 if the brakes weren't on. But you just tell them that all 4 of my slack adjusters are at a 90-degree angle, which means that my parking brakes are on, or your spring brakes. Because the brakes are held by spring. So you head your way back, and before you hop in the front, take off your airlines. hand on it, the trailer one-way check valve is working. There's no air bleeding back from the trailer. You know, the trailer has its own air tank, and there's no air bleeding back because there's a valve in there that's not letting it bleed back. So I'm just going to step on my brake to see if my truck or tractor protection valve is working. All you do is you just hold the brake for 3 seconds, like a gentle brake application. 1, 2, 3. I don't hear any air leak from the truck airlines, which means that the truck protection valve is working. Put the lines back on. Hopper back in to the truck. I'll give you a step in. Before you start your truck, for the next step, what you do is you just take out your timer. You need your timer because we're going to time something. So you're going to tell the examiner that I'm going to build air from 50 to 90 psi, and it should build air under 3 minutes. Why are we doing it? They don't need to know, but if you need to know for yourself, is because we're just checking the compressor speed, right, to see if the speed is working fine. What you do is but I'm going to start my timer when the first needle touches 50 and when both needles go past 90. The reason why is that one goes faster than the other. You want an accurate reading. Make sure it's a neutral if you don't accidentally hit it. Give it a quick start. When you do this, you want to add a high idle at a high RPM. You can either hold your foot down to do it, or the cruise is on, you just hit resume. And it goes straight to 10. And you want to do it between like 11 and 12, so just raise it up a little bit. Follow it, the needle just passed 40, the first one. Okay, yeah, right there, 50. I'm just going to start my timer. If you go with the one that goes first. And then when you turn it off, you want to make sure that both touch 90. This truck does it maybe like a minute 5, so they give you that extra time. So as you can see, this needle's going faster than the other one. That's why you have to do it from the first one that touches 50 and when both gets 90. They're both at 90. We're good there, under 3 minutes. Right when you turn off the timer, make sure that both of your parking brakes are off, because we'll need it for our next test that we're going to do. So this is when you let the examiner know. I'm going to wait until my compressor cuts out or turns off or cut off, unload, whatever word you want to use, and it should cut off between 105 and 135 psi. How do we know it's going to cut off? When you hear that sneeze, that shh, the big purge, that tells you that the compressor has turned off. You have to let them know that I'm going to wait until my compressor cuts out. You have to let them know when it does. Spec numbers between 105 and 135. I think this truck does it at 118 or maybe 120. Yeah. So the compressor has cut off. Turn off my truck. Another timing test that we're going to do right now is, we'll restart our timer. So you tell the examiner, make sure that both your brakes are off, parking brakes are off, because you're going to floor the brake to do a leak test. So let the examiner know that I'm going to push my brake all the way down. I'm going to hold it for 1 minute, and my needles should not drop more than 4 psi within that 1 minute. However you want to explain it, just tell them that I'm going to push the brake Needles should not go down more than 4 psi in 1 minute. Floor it, needles have settled, start your timer. You might want to lock your knee, man, because it's fucking, that pedal's pretty hard. If you accidentally do lift your foot off the brake a little bit, you have to start your truck, build air again until it cuts off and do it again, because you need full air to do it. If I let my foot off the brake, the needles are going to drop and it's not going to be full air. So it's better if you do it right the first time. Look at the needles, they're not even moving at all because there's absolutely not a single air leak on the truck or trailer. Just curious. Okay, so 1 minute has passed. We haven't lost more than 4 psi within that 1 minute. Okay, so we're good. We're gonna do the circle check. We'll step outside. Before you step outside, make sure you turn your left signal on and your high beams on. Why aren't my high beams working? Because you have to put it on accessory before you go. So just turn the key, turn it on, high beams on. Make sure your fan's off because it does kick on your fan and you don't want your battery to drain. We'll just step outside to the front of the truck. Take a step back right here in the middle so you can see the top trailer lights as well. So the lights that are on, you can either call them marker lights or running lights. The ones that don't flash, they're called running or marker. I just like to call them marker. So top trailer marker lights and top truck marker lights are all working. My passenger side marker light is working. My signal on a minute. On. My driver's side signal light is working, as well as both of my high beams. There's no new damage to the front of the truck. My hood, grill, bumper, and plate are all secure and have valid insurance. Move to this side of the truck. No new damage. Try to group things together. That's how you save time and you get it done quicker. My mirror, my door, my footsteps, my fuel strap, my fuel tank, and my fuel cap are all secure with no cracks, leaks, or damage. My compartment door is secure. Signal light is working. No new damage to the back of the truck. No new damage to the front of the trailer. Work your way down. My air lines, my electrical, my plate, my frame, battery box, and mud flap. No cracks, leaks, or damage. I check my batteries once a week for maintenance. Step her back right here. This side of the trailer, no new damage. My top, the bottom, and the signal light of the trailer are all working. I have reflective tape front to back. This is when you can get in a little bit. I see no daylight between the trailer and fifth wheel. The fifth wheel is in the locked position. The fifth wheel, frame, and both suspension, front and back. No cracks, leaks, or damage. You know how we're doing that single tire, one by one? We have all 4 tires. Why don't we just group everything together? All 4 tires and rims on the back side, in between, and the front side have no cracks, leaks, or damage. All 4 tires have sufficient air and tread. Both axle lug nuts are tight and there's no leaks from the hub. I said it there, I don't have to say it in the back because I said both already, right? Less words that you can use, simple, straightforward. You get in and you get out. Mud flap secure. Landing gear and handle secure. Fifth wheel jaws are in the locked position. Left signal's working. Right marker light's working. Plate light's working, and the plate is secure. Step her back. We're gonna get back to the trailer tires there. So it's pretty much sort of the same that we said over there. That has the fifth wheel. Not what connects the trailer and truck together. This doesn't have a fifth wheel, but this has the trailer locking pins. So my trailer locking pins are in the lock position. My frame and both suspension, front and back. Give something a quick ting. You know, make sure that you're acting like you're doing something. Has no cracks, seeks, or damage. All four tires and rims on the back side, in between, and on the front side. No cracks, seeks, or damage. All four tires have sufficient air and tread. Both axle lug nuts are tight with no leaks on the hub. Mud flap is secure. I don't have to name the light because I did it from the front. Back. Back of the trailer, no new damage. Left signal's working. All my marker lights are working. Plate light is working. Plate secure with valid insurance. Reflective tape on the back. Load is nice and secure. This is when you'll tell the examiner. I'm just gonna go tap on the brakes. Can you please tell me if my truck and trailer brake lights are working? You can just follow me. Why do we have a creeper in the back? The reason why is that so we'll remember to open the door and say our load is secure. Everything's done a certain way, so I'll remind you of what to do. Leave it right here. Why do we leave here? So we don't forget to get into the truck. What you do is you just turn off your signal first. Why do you turn it off? Because you don't want, when you hit the brake light, one still flashes and only the one brake light works. But if you turn off both, that's when both brake lights work. So just turn it off, hit the brake, just gently let it off, hit it again. Why do you hit it twice? So they get a chance to look at the back truck and trailer brake light. When they give you a thumbs up or you think it's good enough, right signal on, low beams on. And we're just going to continue from the back to the front. We do a full circle around the truck and trailer. All right. Just before we head off, we don't have to name anything in the back other than the two things that have changed. So now my left marker light is working, my right signal light is working. This side of the trailer, no new damage. My bottom, my top marker light is working as well as the trailer signal light. I have reflective tape from the back to the front, or this side of the trailer, what do you want to say. Mud flap is secure. Pretty much whatever I said on the other side, I'm saying the exact same thing on this side. My trailer locking pins are in the lock position. My frame and both suspension, back and front, no cracks, leaks, or damage. All four tires and rims on the back side, in between, and the front side have no cracks, leaks, or damage. All four tires have sufficient air and tread. Both axle lug nuts are tight, and there's no leaks from the hub. Spare tire hanger is secure. The landing gear is nice and secure. The two lights that have changed on the bottom. Right signal is working and the left marker light is working. Mud flap is secure. What I said on the other side, pretty much on this side, but less wording. My frame, both suspension, back and front, no cracks, leaks, or damage. All four tires and rims on the back, in between, and front, no cracks, leaks, or damage. All four tires have sufficient air and tread. Both axle lug nuts are tight with no leaks from the hub. Valid inspection for the trailer as well as the truck. You can just point it out. If you name one, don't forget to name the other. My mud flap my deck plate, my frame, and the muffler has no crack, seats, or damage. This side of the truck has no new damage. Signal lights working, compartment door secure, mirror, door, steps, strap, tank, fuel cap, no crack, seats, or damage. Mirror secure. My low beams are working, passenger side indicators working, driver side marker light is working. Don't have to name top, stop, or anything else because I did it when first time around. Once you're doing a circuit check under the truck and trailer. We get right under the battery box. Right about here. You just look forward and you tell the examiner that there's no leaks from the engine and transmission. Both my air tanks and both my fuel tanks are secure with no cracks, leaks, or damage. I have no excessive play from the drive shaft. All my wiring and hoses are secure with no cracks, leaks, or damage. My axle is secure, no cracks, leaks, or damage. You might want to get in a little bit here. So this one, you have both brake chambers next to each other. So you group it together. Both my brake chambers and all the air lines to them. Secure, no cracks, leaks, or damage. This is mounted upside down compared to the one in the front. So you have to put your tool upside down. Pull it upside down. So pull them both. Both have 1/2 to 3/4 inch play. Back. Get in this way, there's a shaft in between the two axles. Touch that first. Short shaft, no excessive play. Axle secure, no cracks, leaks, or damage. Both brake chambers and all the air lines to them secure, no cracks, leaks, or damage. You can give both of them a quick pull. Both have 1/2 to 3/4 inch play. All the cross members of the trailer from front to back. There's none missing, there's no damage. All my air lines and my wiring on the side of the trailer are secure with no cracks, leaks, or damage. Wiring and air lines are 18 inches above the ground. Why above the ground? Because that's the law. If they're lower, we get a ticket for it. Trailer axle secure. Cracks, leaks, or damage. Both brake chambers and all the air lines. Just give it a quick touch. You don't want to rip one off, especially on the road test. And all the air lines are secure. No cracks, leaks, or damage. Both of them have 1/2 to 3/4 inch play. When you get to the trailer, you can actually slide all the way back, whereas the truck is a bit harder. You might want to get around. Trailer axle secure, no cracks, leaks, or damage. Both brake chambers and all the air lines to them secure, no cracks, leaks, or damage. Both slack adjusters. This one you have to do it from the side. You can't do it like the one up there because it hits the ground. Just put it on the side like that, in between the two. Both have 1/2 to